Thanks for tuning in to the Tom and Joe Auto Show, starring Tom Tharp, Fun Club President, and myself, Joe Bucci, pork rind expert. We're going to talk your socks off about everything cool in the automotive world. Welcome, Tom and Joe.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Tom and Joe Auto Show, episode number 14. How are you tonight, Joe?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I was just a little bit preoccupied for a second, trying to remember which episode it was. 14, man. That's a lot of episodes.
14. We just keep doing it, man. We do it every Monday. We just keep putting them out.
Oh, yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I hope everybody's enjoying them.
Yeah, me too. Everyone's checking them out. I love it. So this week, you heard our titles up top. This is one I'm especially proud of. The Fun Club President.
Yeah, that's very prestigious, Tom.
I worked my way up through the ranks. Started from the bottom. Now we're here, and I'm now the president.
Nice. Yeah, that's congratulations.
And while it is the fun club, this is serious stuff, This
seriously fun, right?
Serious fun.
Yeah.
And the fun club president, there's various activities, like I said, we like to have a little fun over there. And might check out our website, funclub.com. No, don't go there. I'm sure that goes to something terrible, people. Do not don't type that in. Any website you think of goes to something terrible. Don't you think so, Joe?
I think it's true, yeah.
Pretty much.
You could call 1-800-FUN-CLUB.
Oh, God, no, don't do that.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
How about you? I admire this. I admire this in you.
Do you? All right, yeah, pork rind expert, man. I'm telling you, you don't know a lot of people who like pork rinds, right?
Oh, I love them.
Do you love them?
Love them.
Oh, that's good to hear because not a lot of people.
Right? Isn't that the official? That's how I see them at the store.
Yeah, that is how you see them at the store.
Chicharrones.
I like to try to educate people about pork rinds because I think that the reason some people aren't into pork rinds is they just haven't had some quality pork rinds. So, I like to sometimes hold a class, have some different specimens.
Yeah, you're like a thought leader in that space.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that.
If you want to call 1-800-PORK-RINDS.
Oh no! Do not people. Do not do people. Listeners, do not do that. I love pork rinds. I think the name is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a deterrent.
Yeah, but it's along the lines of potato chips or something. It sort of is what it is. But I think it needs like a marketing makeover. Pork rind. So that's my suggestion to you, being the expert.
Okay, thanks, Tom. I appreciate that.
I think we need to work on the image of pork rinds. But they are delicious.
Oh, yeah, they are. Crackling good.
Yes. So, okay, well, we got a big lineup for you here today. I'm looking down our topics. Lots of good stuff for you to check out. Our first topic tonight is we're going to talk a little bit about live-streamed auto racing events.
Oh, yeah, this is something that's been happening for a little bit now, and, man, I love it. It's the greatest thing.
Yeah, and it's something that, I know I feel like I say this every week, but I don't watch a lot of TV, and auto racing is especially hard to catch.
Yeah,
it's on fewer channels and at weirder times and things. And I'll tell you one that I checked out, and I've just watched a couple different automotive streamed events, not even racing necessarily, but I tuned into the Hot Rod Drag Week.
Yep, same here.
Bunch of times. And unfortunately, half the times it was just sort of like a dude standing near the tree. I'm not sure what was going on. There was no racing. They were just sort of maybe cleaning up the track or trying to get people to the lanes or something. But I watched a fair amount of that, actually.
Yeah, I think when you have a live streamed event, you're going to have some downtime, whether it's track cleanup or trying to get people to the lanes or whatever it is. But I'm just happy to be able to watch it at all, I feel like we've been lucky over the past several years with the internet being able to have, information trickle in here and there on various, social media outlets, and that's always been kind of cool to hear things kind of as they happen, but to be able to watch a live stream is great.
Yeah, it's one of those things that once your eyes are open to it, you start searching it out and realizing that there's a lot out there to see.
Yeah, there is. And I kind of heard about some, like, Drag Week being streamed. I think I saw somebody mention on Facebook, and I was able to track it down and watch that stream. More recently, the same thing happened with Lights Out 6 at South Georgia Motorsports Park just a couple weeks ago. I was able to watch that. I saw somebody mention it on Facebook, and what I found was that Lights Out 6 was streaming on Motor Mania TV, and they stream a lot of events there.
I'm gonna write that one down.
Yeah, definitely make note of that. They've streamed the U.S. Street Nationals at Bradenton. They've streamed the Snowbird Nationals, American Door Slammers Nationals. They've all these events they've done in the past couple years, I guess. And so that seems like a really good outlet to be able to watch some racing.
Yeah, and I would imagine the quality's getting better, and I'm not sure how it works. I mean, if they have like multiple camera angles and things.
Yeah, they have a couple different camera angles. They have some live announcers. They're the track announcers, so they're kind of doing double duty there.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure can be difficult for them. But they do a pretty good job, and I mean, I don't want to make it sound like it's not that cool, but it's definitely better than nothing. It's way better than nothing.
Yeah, right.
I really enjoy it. So yeah, the Motor Mania TV was one outlet I found it at. I believe the Drag Week was live streamed on YouTube. And doing a little searching around, I found that we spoke in a previous episode about how NHRA drag racing is sometimes difficult to catch because it gets delayed by tennis or poker or whatever they think is more important than in the NHRA. But they have a live streaming website as well. It's livenhraracing.com. So,
oh, that's good to know. I don't know, younger folks might just think of these things like, oh, I'll just catch the streaming version, but I don't know, maybe it's because I didn't grow up with this. It's not the first thing that crosses my mind, like that it's just out there being shown somewhere right now,
Right, yeah, you don't think, oh, I'm sure that's streaming somewhere. That's definitely not the first thing for us that comes to mind. So
yeah, one thing I watched was the Hot Rod show Roadkill. They did an engine swap on their Crusher Camaro at the PRI show.
Okay, yeah.
Year before last, and they live streamed that, and they did a good job. They had a couple different camera angles and things, and kept switching back and forth, and like I said, at times you would tune in, and it was just some dudes staring at the engine bay, scratching their head for like 15 minutes, which we all do. I mean, if someone saw a live stream of me in the garage, it's a lot of sort of standing around and head scratching, I think.
Yeah, same here, Tom, definitely.
A lot of looking at instructions and then back at the engine and then at the instructions for 10 more minutes.
Hey, Tom, do you find yourself crawling underneath your car, laying down, and then just staring at the bottom of the chassis for extended periods of time?
All the time. Yeah, there's a certain project I'm in the middle of right now, a part of the project where it's just so much looking.
Yeah. Yep, I do it. It's great. It's enjoyable. It's relaxing. It's I don't know. It's really good.
Well, you get to do it in your living room, right? Isn't that true? And what we learned about you last week, that you work on the stuff in the living room. So it's so enjoyable. You can be like on your couch or something and
Yeah, I haven't quite gotten the old Eclipse in the living room yet, but I mean, it's something I could work on.
You need a special door, like a garage door that comes right in the living room there.
I do. I got some windows. I don't know. I'll look into it.
Yeah. A Sawzall and a trip to Home Depot. That's done right there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Tom. Well, that was a good little talk on some live streamed auto racing.
Yeah, folks, if you know some out there, send them our way. I mean, if you know some cool websites that have this sort of thing, or know some good events that are streamed, ones you watch, your favorites, whatever, please tell us about it.
Yeah, that would be great. Our schedule here says that we should be taking a break here, but I think we have a little time. You want to move on to topic 2 real quick, Tom?
Yeah, excuse me. it's 14 degrees here, and I think I just keep getting sick over and over again, shoveling driveways and things like that. So excuse me there. But yeah, I think one of the dullest things in the world, I mean, just terribly dull, is when someone corners you and describes in great detail their dream that they had.
Okay,
it's like the dullest thing in the world. I swear it is. I just want to just run away when someone does that to me. So on that note, let me tell you about this dream I've been having.
Oh, yeah, sounds good, Tom. I got nothing better to do.
No, it is car related.
Oh, that's good then.
It's really weird, though. I've had this dream almost every single night for the last, probably week and a half. And it's shootout related.
Oh, this is getting good.
It is. It's related to the DSM shootout. This is honest to goodness. This has been about the last week and a half, every single night. And it's one of those dreams where you wake up and then you go to sleep and you keep having it.
Oh, wow.
It's
cool.
It just keeps going on. And what it is I'm going to Wakeman, Ohio, and that's the home of Buescher Racing there.
Right.
His shop, and you drive down the road and go to Norwalk and to the raceway, and you sort of just hang around that whole area when you go to the shootout. Anyway, I've been dreaming about, for whatever reason, my mom and her husband are there, and I'm trying to entertain them, and while I'm at the shootout. So I'm working with Dave Buescher to understand the local sites and places to see to take them. And he's, as you might expect, he's very irritated by this.
What?
He's trying to run a business, make horsepower or whatever, and all I want to do is find out the local tourist hotspots and things of Wakeman, Ohio, so my mom and her husband can see these places. This is the dream every night. What is going on here, Joe? Do you have any you have so many different areas of expertise. Every week we learn about something new. This week, pork rinds. Is there something what are you getting from this right now?
Well, I would say,
in some of the dreams I call him, and I'm in Wakeman and I'm calling him. Others we're physically going there and I'm trying to get this information, what do we do now and this and that. It's really consuming my life. I got to be honest.
Well, what I think is that, like many in the DSM community that we're a part of, you probably respect Dave and the amount of knowledge he has about cars, racing, automobiles, DSMs, GTRs, all the stuff he works on. And I think that somehow you're allowing that to overflow into everything, and you feel that he knows a little bit about everything, but I don't know. Sure. Well, yeah, he's probably hometown, knows his town, yeah. But Dave doesn't come across to me as the type that goes sightseeing very often. I'm not sure. Maybe he does.
Yeah, I know. The whole thing is, I'm hoping to get some clarity on this. So, folks listening, Joe, I'll have more on this. I'll give you a dreamy update in the next episode. I'll let you know how it's going. We can just follow this along. I don't know where this path's going to lead, but right now it's pretty much the same dream every night for the last week and a half.
Yeah, I would. I'd let it go for a little while. If you don't come up with anything, then I would say the next step would definitely be to shoot Dave an email.
I've been dreaming about him. Yeah. Is that the subject line? What's weird is the actual point of the dream is my mom and her husband there, and I'm trying to show them a good time at the shootout for some reason. That's the whole weird part. Okay, we've spent enough time on this topic.
Okay, Tom. All right. Yeah, it's probably time for us to go ahead.
I'm actually boring myself right now.
Okay, we can take a break then, Tom.
All right, sounds good, Joe.
All right. Hey, welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your break. We certainly did. I drank some water. What did you do, Tom?
Yeah, I drank some water too.
All right, good. Yeah, we nailed it. So, thanks for tuning into the Tom and Joe Auto Show. We'd like to ask the listeners here if you could try and get the word out about the show. Tell a friend about the Tom and Joe Auto Show. If you can, try to be active on our social media, whether it be Facebook or YouTube or even our Twitter. Let's get some chatter going and see what we can come up with.
I love it. All right,
Tom.
So let's get right into these topics, Joe.
Sounds good.
We're gonna talk family cars.
Oh yeah, that's a hot topic right there.
Family cars, the uncoolest of the cars, the family car.
You know what, Tom? I know something about you.
Oh, yeah?
You're a fan of your family car, aren't you?
You know what? Here's when it started. It started when my daughter arrived.
Okay, yeah.
And I had my 2003 Evo.
Right.
And this thing was just beating me to death, driving it every day. You know, it just was. It's a high-strung car, any way you slice it. You've driven them, you know how it is.
Oh yeah, it seems like it might be passable for a family car, but it really isn't.
Its shape, here's the thing, its shape,
yeah,
and the 4-cylinder seems economical, and the shape, 4 doors, all that seems like, yeah, I could make this, a decent sized trunk, and I could make this work.
Yeah.
It's a super high-strung vehicle. People who haven't tried to use it in that way just will never understand. On paper, yes. Real life, no. I mean, you sneeze with that steering wheel. Have you ever sneezed driving an Evo?
No, you can't.
You are 3 lanes over if you sneeze driving that thing. I've done it.
Yeah.
So, anywho, it just, I don't know, the long commute and having, a baby, it just was too much. And the car, my first family car was a 2003 Infiniti i35.
Oh, all right, cool.
Sounds really fancy, but I bought it used. It was a few years old, and got it from a buddy who goes to the car auctions a lot down in Florida, and
right.
He got it for me. I think he might have drove it, and I met him somewhere in North Carolina or something like that. But nice car, comfortable. Basically a Nissan Maxima. And
right.
With some nicer seats and stuff in it, but I really loved it. I fell in love with it. It was so comfortable and quiet, and it was the first car I think I've ever owned in my life that I didn't even want to modify.
Right.
It was just like, oh, this thing is so quiet and comfortable, and everything works, and it was an automatic, so it was just sort of like riding around in your living room, and it seemed like a good, safe car for my daughter, who was just a baby at the time.
Yeah.
And so everything was working out, and then from there, well, I might have taken a step back a little bit, went to the ISF.
Right, right.
Looking for the performance again. And then my son came along, so now I've got, a toddler and a baby now. And the ISF, it was good when they were really small, but as they got a little bigger, it was getting really cramped in that back seat.
Yeah,
because the
definitely.
ISF,
I think it's better than the Evo, but not quite good enough.
Yeah, it's not a full-sized 4-door. It's a smaller 4-door.
Yeah.
So I went all in and went to minivan, Joe.
Oh, straight up minivan.
Put all the chips on minivan.
Well, I rode in this minivan. It's nice.
Yeah, I know minivans. There's people that send me messages all the time where it sort of just warps their brain that I own a minivan, because I appear like a super horsepower lover guy, and I am. But the minivan is like the Swiss Army knife for a family dude.
Right, yeah.
It just does it all. The best feature in the world. If I'm talking to if some of the listeners out there, if you're planning on having children someday, or if you got a couple that are starting to grow up a little bit, the feature is the doors that slide open.
Right.
And you've got this giant hole in the side of the thing that the kids run in and out of.
Right, yeah, that's great. The other good thing about those doors is the kids can't swing them into other people's cars.
Yes, you can park it. Parking spaces are getting tighter and tighter, it seems. I swear, everywhere I go. And You just roll up, hit those doors. You can park in a really tight space. Kids aren't throwing the doors open. Yeah, in the ISF, I was always worried about that because those doors are like really pointy and how they just stick way out. And so, it's just such a great all-around vehicle. And I bought a used one that had, 100,000 on it already. And it's a Mazda MPV.
Right.
Which, strangely, let's talk a minute about the MPV for a minute. Built in Japan and imported, and then they get it over here and slide the old Ford 3.0 Duratec V6 in there.
Yeah, that is kind of odd.
Yeah, because over in Japan, they have some interesting engines they put in that thing. They put a turbo 4-cylinder. Let's see, there's a turbo diesel 4,
right,
and all-wheel drive option. So
there's no all-wheel drive in the U.S. on that, huh?
Nope. So, it's always kind of crossed my mind because you can actually buy those transmissions and rear ends and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, honestly, with the funniest thing in the world, you can go, there's a website that sells all those parts. It's like $430. You get the transmission, the transfer case, the drive shaft, diff, everything. It's scrap money, basically.
Right. You're kind of looking for another project, right?
No. People have given me like 1,000 ideas of what I could do with the stock Miata parts I've taken out, and I can't even hear it right now. I think you just
answered your own question there.
I'm underwater. Oh no! Now before I took on the Miata project, I will say there is a folder on the computer called MPV Turbo, and where I've studied the wiring harnesses and all that sort of stuff. So it has definitely crossed my mind to try to make a cool minivan. But then reality kicks in, and I realized that a family car, it should never even cross your mind that you want to mod it. You know what I mean? Or am I wrong about that? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, Joe.
I don't know, man. I think that it really does make the most sense to leave it alone. And the fact that you have a folder on your computer and you were considering modifying it is maybe even a step too far.
I should delete that folder.
Yeah, you should before something bad happens.
So what do you think, Joe? What kind of family cars have you been rolling around in?
Well, I drive a Ford Focus currently. Of course, my daughter's 11 at this point. There was a time where we had a Kia Soul, which was a little bit larger vehicle. When you have like car seats and stuff, you kind of need the extra room.
They're
and you're
huge.
Carrying a stroller around.
Yes.
I'm kind of past that at this point. Yeah, it is.
Interesting.
It is, but like, man, if I kind of had my pick or whatever, if I could pick what kind of large family vehicle that I would drive, I think I would try to look into like one of the hot SUVs, like a Jeep SRT 8 Cherokee, or like the Mercedes ML63 AMG or whatever it is.
Those things are
I think
awesome.
that would be really cool. I think that like cars like the Hellcat or the CTS-V, would kind of be cool, but they'd probably have the same problem that you've had with the Evo and then with the ISF. They're not really enough, like I said, if you're carrying a stroller or a large car seat or anything like that. What was funny though is like when I was thinking about this topic, what came to mind for me was the Nissan Maxima and how it on the back windows it always has the 4DSC.
Yeah, 4-door sports car. I love that. I love that sticker.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool, and they've gone with that for several years. It's as far as I know, it's still on the new Maximas. Still have that sticker.
It's hung around all the same sticker, same part number there. Well, I love that I-35. It was a good car, but here's me. That ISF caught my eye, and in my defense, the I-35, I was driving the wheels off that thing. I was driving a lot for work, and it was the miles were really racking up, and so
Right. So what do you think? You think that maybe someday you might retire the MPV, maybe look into like a Mazda 5 or something like that as a replacement?
Well, I looked at the Mazda 5, and it is considerably smaller inside.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's approaching sort of like 4-door status, but it does still have the slide doors.
Yeah.
Sliding side doors for the kids. But it's just, the problem is behind that third row, that's the end of the van.
Yeah,
like that's it.
Right.
The rear glass is right there. And in my van, what's cool about the MPV is it doesn't look like a school bus. It's a foot shorter than the Accord or other minivan. Not the Accord, Odyssey or other minivans.
Yeah.
It's a whole foot shorter.
Right.
So it's easier to maneuver, and it feels a little, it just feels smaller and easier to move around. But you still have lots of room behind that third row. So it's just, I don't know. I haul all sorts of stuff in it. I love my minivan so much. I've told people this, and it's surprised anyone I've ever told, but I think it's my favorite car, maybe that I've ever owned.
Really?
Just because it's so perfect for life right now, everything that goes on in life, it's just the ideal machine for that.
Right.
And so from that perspective, I really love it dearly, but I don't know, it does have a lot of miles on it, and I mean, I'm starting to get a whiff of burning oil once in a while.
Oh, okay.
Coming out from under the hood. I'm sure it's the valve cover gaskets or something,
Yeah. Well, are you open to suggestions? It's like for a replacement vehicle?
Boy, oh yeah, yeah, sure. What do you got there?
Well, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you're really big on the minivans.
Love them.
But you're kind of a performance-oriented guy. There was a minivan out there that I always thought was really cool. It was available with a 160 horsepower supercharged engine, a 5-speed transmission, and all-wheel drive.
Oh, is this the Previa?
The Toyota Previa. That's it, man. You just got to find one of those.
Yeah, I saw, or the old MPV was pretty wild too, because the old MPV came in rear-wheel drive form.
Oh, really?
All-wheel drive was an option, but it was real boxy. It sat up high, but it had a north-south drivetrain.
Oh, that's really cool.
And there's one online somewhere where the dude stuck a 300ZX twin-turbo motor in one. Because it's got just like a plain old solid axle diff in the back and everything.
Nothing is sacred.
No. Well said, Joe. But those old Previas, if you if anyone likes seeing minivans do ridiculous things, there's some great Previa videos on YouTube of people that have hopped them up and drift them and stuff.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
I thought about a Previa, but they all have 1 million miles on them.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be hard to find one in good shape.
Yeah.
But you know what? If it was my bottom line, if I was gonna be buying a new family car right now, this has been on my list before, but I'd have to go for a CTS-V wagon.
Oh yeah, those are so cool. What a great car that was.
Yeah, very cool. I don't know if they're gonna do that, have wagon option on the new CTS-V, but
not that I've heard. Maybe a few years on, but I don't know. That was a special car there that they made for a short time.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of cars, quickly, I don't want to change topics. This is a topic I love, and it's just one of those things. A lot of people feel like, oh, got to get a family car. It's a big compromise, but I don't know. I think you should welcome it and enjoy that part of your life. Whatever. If you have to buy a car for work that you have to drive a lot, or you're buying a car for family because you have some kids on the way or whatever. I mean, welcome it and have fun with it, and enjoy that experience. But so let's go a complete left turn here. We talked about the new Ford GT concept.
Yep.
Well, they've been hinting around at the pricing a little bit.
Okay.
Have you seen any of this?
I have not.
All right. Okay, Joe. Now, they haven't gave an exact base price yet, but they've given a target. At the Geneva Auto Show, the Ford guy was letting it slip a little bit. So if you had to guess.
Oh, man. Well, since I'm old, I'm kind of stuck in the dark ages of when you could buy a similar supercar for less than $100,000. I'm going to try to forget that even happened.
Yeah, forget the pricing of the old GT. Just forget all that stuff.
I'm thinking I'm going to go with $120,000.
Oh man, we could all wish. The Ford guy said the pricing will be comparable to the Lamborghini Aventador.
Oh no,
which comes in at about $4 bills, if you know what I'm saying.
Come on, are they serious?
Yep. That was the Ford executive at the Geneva Auto Show. This was just let loose like yesterday.
Wow, I wouldn't have expected that at all. I mean, if you would have said 200,000, I would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess.
This is with the better wheels.
Oh, well, that explains it.
Leather.
Are these the carbon fiber GT 350R wheels?
Yeah, they
or
take
something?
them off the Mustang and stick them on this.
That's what I want, is Mustang wheels on my GT.
You got them Cobra wheels on there. So anyway, that's fun. So folks, save up your, get that piggy bank all filled up for your new Ford GT. And I don't know, it'd be interesting to see once they have the old Ford GT configurator up on Ford.com.
Yeah, build in price.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's move on to our next topic here. Now, this is... Okay. I guess it's a dude. Did you see that? We haven't had one of these in a while, but this is one I've been following since the beginning. I'm not even sure how I originally learned about this, but it's a YouTube video series called Project Binky.
Yeah. Tom just recently let me know about this, and I watched a couple episodes. Man, these guys are taking on a huge project, and they're totally nailing it.
They are too. It's called, their channel is Bad Obsession Motorsports, and there's some fine gentlemen from the United Kingdom, and they are building a Mini, like an Austin Mini, whatever I'm not even sure what year of Mini it is. It's an older.
I'm not sure. The original, though, the original body style.
60s, 70s, something like that. And what they're doing is transplanting a whole Toyota Celica GT4 drivetrain into the thing.
Turbocharged and all-wheel drive.
Yeah, so that was a cool car, too, in its day. Underrated, underappreciated, very low volume. You never, ever see them anymore. The Celica GT4. And so they're taking that big drivetrain. I mean, it's very similar to the, DSM Mitsubishi Eclipse turbo all-wheel drivetrain, I'd say, and layout and everything.
Yep, definitely.
And they're jamming that whole thing into a Mini.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Those original Minis are tiny.
Yeah. And watching those videos, they're doing some serious work to literally shoehorn that engine into the engine bay.
Yeah, this is a don't try this at home type situation. And all you can do, the videos, they're done so well. They're very humble. They have the British sense of humor, very dry, very understated, extremely well shot, but incredible metalwork and fabrication going on. Because
and they're doing it with kind of like, I don't know how to say it, but very, very minimal tooling, like not big huge metal brakes to bend sheet metal. They're using like little pieces of angle iron and tubing to bend stuff, and it's really cool. Yeah, and to me, the most brilliant thing is when they have a problem. A lot of the video is they're presented with a problem, and they have to create a piece of metal. They'll just crank out a little cardboard template, but a very complex cardboard template, and then they recreate it in steel, bend it all up, weld it up, and then fabricate that onto the car, and it becomes part of the car, and it solves that problem. It's just so brilliant, the work they're doing, and I don't know, if you think you've got your hands full with a project and you're like, oh man, this is so much work, just watch this, and it might put things in perspective. Yeah, it's a pretty huge undertaking they got going on.
Man, but definitely check that out. Bad Obsession Motorsports is the channel, and it's Project Binky, and we'll link you up to that on our page in case you haven't seen it.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good, Tom.
Yeah, they've got episode 9 coming out, and I follow their Facebook page, and all I saw in my Facebook feed was episode 9. Okay. And I was so excited because they don't post very often, maybe once a month or two, because obviously it's a huge project. But I was so excited because I thought it was that, but they were just giving an update saying, hey, we know it's taking a long time, so hang in there.
Right,
I got so darn excited because I thought it was a new one. I couldn't wait to watch it tonight, but...
Yeah, that's cool. I went ahead and subscribed, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep up with that channel. It's very interesting, very entertaining.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Tom. Well, let's wrap that topic up, and we'll move on to our last topic for this episode of the Tom and Joe Auto Show. We'll use a listener question we have here that came in on the Tom and Joe Facebook page.
Love the listener questions.
Oh, yeah, they're great. They are great. We got a list of them, and we squeeze them in when we can here. It's good to talk about them. This subject is going to be lightweight wheels. This came in on our Tom and Joe Facebook page, but again, just like last week, I don't have a note here of who it came in from.
Oh, and last week our question, it was from my man Nighthawk, right?
It was.
So this question, I guess this is becoming a tradition where we read your question and we'll say next week who you are.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Well done, Joe and Tom.
We have everything together right now. All right, so a little background information from our topic submitter.
Let's call him Ralph.
Ralph is setting up his 90 Talon all-wheel drive for road racing and autocross. He's really struggling to find the right wheel that looks good and will stand up to the abuse. He's trying to get a 255/40 tire on a 17 by 9-inch rim. Weight's important, so the lighter the better. He's looking at Binky RPF1s, 16 pounds apiece. He's wondering if we have any other alternatives for him, and he's also wondering if we think that the extra unsprung weight from the 255 tire on the 17 by 9 wheel is worth it over the 235 tire on a 17 by 8-inch rim. Did you take that all in, Tom?
Yeah, and my answer to this question, the series of questions, is yes.
Yes, that's a good answer.
Yep. So, Ralph, yes.
It sounds like Ralph has done his homework.
He is
on this.
I think he's teaching me a thing or two. I feel like I should be asking him the questions.
Well, I'll tell you, I know
qualified for this. I don't know, Joe.
The Binky RPF1s are a good quality lightweight wheel.
Classic choice.
I mean, that's not a bad choice by any means. There are some wheels that I've seen over the years that are, I guess, just comparable. I'm not sure that they're any better or any worse, but some wheels like the Cozy K1s or the SSR Competitions or the classic Volk Racing TE37s, these are all good wheels that are available in the sizes he's looking at and at very light weights.
Yeah, and the Krager SS and the 15 by 10. I don't know if he's looked into that one. Chrome. Comes in chrome, probably weighs about 45 pounds.
Yeah, that could be an option for him, I think.
And also,
the other thing is based off of my expertise, where I'm really into drag racing, he might want to run some Pro Stars or drag lights. Those are very light drag racing wheels.
What happens if you road race a wheel like that? Do they just melt and turn to dust or something? What do they do?
Oh, maybe our man Ralph can find out for us.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, it sounds like he's on the cusp, and I understand where he is. Anytime you're putting together a car and you plan to really push it to its limits, these decisions make the difference.
Oh, yeah, and you'll sit and mull them around in your head for days upon days.
But he's doing the right thing. Sweating these details are the difference between, beating the next guy and not. So
that's 100% true.
Yeah.
It's 100% true. So what do you think about the 255 on the 9-inch wheel versus the 235 on the 8-inch wheel, Tom? You got any input on that?
Well, my initial thought, without knowing the specs on the tires, I would definitely study the specs on the tires, and he is already identified that there's a weight difference. That would be
right.
That would be the one to consider. My other thought was I have in the past, I would look at the recommended width, the actual section width of the tire, the tread width, and then look at the recommended wheel size width-wise. And because I've run both a wider tire on a rim and then used a narrower tire and compared them back to back. And the narrower tire was not only lighter, but it was more square and better suited to the size of the wheel, the width of the wheel. And I think the handling and everything was just improved dramatically.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's I'm not sure exactly how a 255 width tire fits on a 9-inch rim versus a 235 on an 8, but definitely check out the tire manufacturer's recommendations, and whichever one they say is a better fit, they probably know what they're talking about.
Yeah, and there's got to be a decent weight penalty here, a 17x9 compared to a 17x8. And those two tires, tire weight is one of those things that once you get tuned into it, it's sort of surprising the differences.
Yeah, there can be a 10-pound difference on the same size tire.
Yeah, and some of these economy tires that seem like, it looks pretty good. I bet it's a decent performer, has decent reviews. Eyeball the weights on some of these economy tires. You'll be really surprised.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. In my world, weight is number one to me. Not only does saving weight get you more performance, it also saves wear and tear, driveline breakage, things like that. Your car is going to be more reliable the more weight you take off of it, as long as you don't take it out of any major structural components. But I would go with the 235. I'm pretty sure as long as the manufacturer says that tire fits on that 8-inch rim, I would go for it. If they recommend an 8.5 or even a 9, go with what they say, and I say go with the narrower tire setup. Save that weight. Yeah,
and what I found immediately interesting about this question was, road racing, the old DSM there.
Oh, yeah.
Before the show started, we talked about this a little bit, Joe. And, over the years, can you count on one hand how many, road course DSMs you've seen?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, actually, for me is the Archer brothers.
Yeah, that was an early one. That was when the car was brand new. They were factory racing it.
Yeah, they raced from 89 to 96, I believe, and they dominated. They did well with those cars. The issue that comes to mind for me is that a 1990 Talon is now 25 years old, and they need to be well sorted if you're going to beat on them like that.
It's going to need 2 of everything.
Yeah. You bring the pickup truck full when you go to the track.
Yeah, there's that element to it for sure. But over the years, it's everyone drag races them, And,
they became a drag racer for sure.
So I think this would be a very unique thing to see out on the track, and really cool, and I would applaud Ralph's efforts here very much. And I'm sure he's pining over all these details: wheel size, engine things, suspension setups, all that kind of fun stuff.
Oh yeah, and you know what else comes to mind real quick before we finish up here, Tom, is Andrew Brilliant. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name correctly, but an acquaintance of mine, through the years, online, forums, Facebook, that sort of thing. He has a 2G.
It's like a time attack. He's done time attack with it.
Yeah, and it's a very well set up car, and I believe he's been very successful. Let's just say that. So that's someone that Ralph might want to throw in the old Google search engine, see what he comes up with there.
Yeah, amazing work with aerodynamics and really
definitely
wild looking. Yeah, time attack. That's me trying to get the kids to school in the morning. It's like that's what I call it, the time attack.
That's a subject for another episode.
Yeah,
Tom.
okay, I like that.
All right, good. Well, I think that is the end of episode 14. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, we made another podcast, Joe.
That's it. We just keep cranking them out.
Yeah, like a podcast robot here. Machine.
Yeah, podcast machine.
Yeah.
I like that word, machine.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Tom. Well, thanks for joining me, and thanks to all the listeners for joining us on the podcast. Like we said after our break, if you could spread the word, we'd really appreciate it.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks, Joe. Good talking to you as always, and we'll see you next time, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.